Acts chapter 5 and verse 19. But the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors and brought them out forth, saying, Go, stand and speak in the temple of the people the words of this life. An angel came and opened the prison doors. And we could say, well, yeah, we understand that story. We understand that he delivered Paul and others from prison. But that was in the New Testament. What about today? That was all biblical times, which is an interesting terms. Biblical times meaning it was in the Bible. We're still in biblical times because we're in the times that are described in the Bible. But they look at that and say, well, that was in the Bible. That story's from the Bible, but now we don't have those kind of things. We don't have incidents where angels miraculously intervene. I want to share with you another story. This was shared with me by a pastor. And he said he was visiting a woman who was mentally ill. She wanted to come to church, but she had some mental problems, mental issues. And when he came to visit her at the house, she had planned to attack him, had planned to kill him. She had a knife behind her back when he arrived at the house, and she was going to stab him. And it wasn't until later that he found that out. Later, in a second counseling, she confessed, when you came here last time, I had every intention to kill you, to stab you. And she said, I had a knife. He said, well, what stopped you? She said, well, there were those two big men with you, or I would have done something. He didn't see the two big men with him, but he had angels about him that were protecting him. And here they were visible to her, but not to the pastor. And there are times that happens where visibly somebody sees something or directs them. And in other cases, they may appear under certain people or not even appear at all. I want to read a humorous story, and it's something similar. Now, I mentioned that angels are there to direct our path or to protect us. This story is about that, but it's a humorous story. And you can't say God doesn't have a sense of humor because we read some of the things that have happened and some of the things that he has done. Numbers chapter 22. We're going to go back to Numbers, and we're going to read a story about Balaam. Balaam rose up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. God's anger was kindled against him because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his donkey, and his two servants were with him. So here you have Balaam. He's riding on a donkey, and it says the angel stood in the way. It doesn't say Balaam could see him. It just said, it says the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his sword drawn in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. Balaam smote the donkey and turned her back to the way he was going. Again, sometimes an angel may direct your path and you go, nope, this is what I want to do. Well, this is what Balaam was doing. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyard, and a wall being on one side and a wall being on the other side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall, crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. And what does he do? He smote the donkey again. He smacked it again. The angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place, and there was no way to turn to the right hand or the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote with the staff. She just rolled over and smashed him again, and just fell down on him. This is where we see more of a sense of humor. I mean, it's already humorous what God has done through this angel. Verse 28, the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and he said to Balaam, and now when I read this, I hear the voice of Shrek and Donkey. Balaam, what have I done to you that you've struck me these 3 times? Balaam said to the donkey. Now, it doesn't say Balaam was surprised and shocked that the donkey is talking to him. It just says, Balaam said to the donkey, because you've mocked me, if there were a sword in my hand, I would kill you. Verse 30, I'm going to read the English Standard Version. The donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey on which you have ridden all of your life until this day? Is it my habit to treat you this way? The donkey's conversing with Balaam, and he said, no. Verse 31, then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, with his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed down his head, and he fell flat on his face. The angel of the Lord said to him, wherefore have you smitten this donkey 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand you, because your way is perverse before me. He was there as a messenger delivering a message of God, but he was also trying to direct Balaam's path. The donkey saw me and turned away these 3 times, and unless she had turned away, surely I would have slain you and saved her life. He said, your donkey was saving your life by not just charging forward the way you wanted to go. And again, I ever since I was young and heard that story for the first time, I was like, now that's funny. There's something humorous in what God does to bring a point across. And a humorous story of how angels can intervene. Let's look at another one. 2 Kings chapter 6. 2 Kings chapter 6, and this is something I talked about at the feast when I was in Nigeria. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 11. This is what my point was there, was the ability to see things that can't be seen normally or by the naked eye. And they sent one of his servants said, none, my lord, except Elisha, who is a prophet in Israel, and he tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in the bedroom. He said, this prophet can tell what you're dreaming, what you're thinking about. So he said, go and find out where he is, that I may get him. He wanted to kill him. And he was told, surely he's in Dothan. Therefore he sent horses and chariots and a great army there, and they came at night, and they surrounded the city. So they surrounded a city with horses and chariots. Now, verse 15, 2 Kings 6:15. When the servant of the man arose in the morning and went out, you can just see him coming out of a tent with a cup of coffee, and he looks around, and there's horses and chariots surrounding the city. He said it was surrounded with horses and chariots. And a servant said to him, alas, master, what shall we do? That's probably mildly putting it. It was probably, we're going to die. We came here, and now we're surrounded by this army, and they're here to kill us. He says in verse 16, do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Now, I can still... Do you see something I don't? Because I see an army around us, and you're saying there's more of us. There's you and I, Elijah. Verse 17, Elisha prayed that the Lord would open his eyes that he could see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw that the